Today I brought you a curious story. Han Xue, a Chinese celebrity who's been famous for over 20 years, decided to join a blind dating show. But to experience it like a regular person, she hid her identity. The result? It didn't go well. One by one, the men turned off their lights and walked away. We're going to talk about this moment that was, without a doubt, one of the most embarrassing experiences of her life, and try to understand why not a single guy stayed behind. Spoiler alert, the men had a lot to say about the whole situation, and you'll see how they reacted to this woman who suddenly dropped into their lives. So just imagine the scene. Han Xue, a well-known actress in China, decided to take a chance on a dating show. To avoid being recognized, she wore a mask and used a fake name by Jingjing. She said she was 28 or 29, depending on the day, and earned about 5,000 yuan a month working a regular job. Something like a planning manager, nothing too flashy. At first, the guys were actually intrigued. She had a nice body, a distinctive voice, and the mask gave her a mysterious vibe. But before she could even say much, the lights started going off. Why? Her age nearly 30 and her modest income didn't seem impressive to the participants. They looked at her and thought, yeah, she's attractive, but is it worth it? One guy even whispered to his friend, almost 30 and only 5,000 yuan? I think I'll pass, I can't compete with that. And just like that, one by one they backed out. Another guy, more blunt, said, is this show kidding us? How am I supposed to support someone who shows up like this? The rejection came fast, and Han Xue had no idea what was coming next. But Han Xue isn't one to give up easily. When she saw she was losing the guys, she tried to sell herself better. She said she could cook, played video games, and even sang on stage, Tian Mimi, to be exact. The production even added background music, even though she wanted to sing a cappella. It was like she was saying, look, I'm a full package woman, take me home. One of the men turned to the other and said, she sings well, but can that pay the bills? Some of them thought, wow, it's rare to find a woman like this nowadays. She even dropped a hint that she came from a good family, hoping to catch someone's attention. One guy asked, a good family? Then why is she here making only 5,000? But in the final decision, nothing changed. All the lights went out. The studio fell into an awkward silence, and Han Xue stood there, confused about what had gone wrong. Another man, turning off his light, mumbled, cooking and video games are cool, but I'm not going into debt to impress someone I don't even know. She tried, but the guys had already made up their minds. And then came the real deal breaker, her list of requirements. Han Xue opened up about what she wanted in a boyfriend, moral values, which was fine, but also a minimum height of 6 feet 1 inch, a stable job, and the kicker, a house of at least 2,000 to 2,700 square feet in Shanghai. Yes, Shanghai, one of the most expensive cities in the world. As soon as she finished, it was like dominoes. The lights shut off, one after another. The guys must have thought, a house like that? I'm nowhere near that level. One of them even laughed and said, I've got the height, but a house in Shanghai? Only if I sell my soul. And let's be real, a man with that kind of profile probably isn't on a dating show. He's likely already married to someone more down to earth. So they dropped out quickly, no one even wanted to try. Another guy said as he turned off his light, this woman's living in a movie, not in my reality. I'm out. The vibe got heavy, and Han Xue lost every single one of them. Now, we can kind of understand where Han Xue is coming from. She was born into a very wealthy family. Like, while other kids dreamed of toy cars, she already had a private jet. At 12, she was representing youth at major events. At 20, she was on Forbes' list of China's most influential celebrities. Her life has always been full of luxury multi-million-dollar jewelry, like a 20 million yuan pink diamond ring, and a mansion in Suzhou with over 50,000 square feet. On one show, she said a 12,000 square foot house could fit in her backyard. So for Han Xue, a home in Shanghai is just normal. But the guys on that show don't live in that world for them. That's an impossible dream. One of the men, after finding out about her wealth, said, if she's that rich, why is she here asking all this from me? It makes no sense. Another added, I work hard just to pay rent, not to fund someone else's luxury lifestyle. The gap between their worlds became crystal clear. Then came the final twist. Han Xue took off her mask, and everyone realized who she was, the famous star. The participants were stunned, some even looked like they regretted their decision. One guy turned to another and said, this show has to be joking. How am I, a regular guy, supposed to support a woman who shows up like that? The reveal of her wealth only made the gap feel even bigger. She wasn't just famous, she was insanely rich. Someone living a life they couldn't even imagine. One last man, a 45-year-old CEO, gave it a shot. He asked if she'd give up her career to have kids. She said no, acting was essential to her. And guess what? The last light went off. He turned away and said, even being famous, she won't compromise. Better to walk away. The men left, and Han Xue was alone on stage. It must have been a shock for her. She probably thought her fame would save the day. But nope, no one wanted to deal with her sky-high standards. She returned to her world of diamonds and mansions, and the guys returned to their normal lives. And that's how Han Xue's dating show adventure ended. She wanted to find someone without using her fame, but in the end, every single light went out. The men walked away because deep down, none of them could or wanted to meet her demands. It was an awkward moment, yes, but also a clear example of what happens when two very different worlds collide. What do you think of this story? Let us know in the comments. And just to wrap it up, it's worth thinking about how the guys felt. One of them, after leaving the stage, said, I came here to meet someone real, not to become some trophy for a woman who thinks I'm a millionaire. Another went deeper. She's beautiful, she sings well, but with demands like that, only a guy as rich as her could handle it. Maybe the biggest surprise for Han Xue was realizing that, without her fame, she couldn't win anyone over. Did she learn anything from it? Who knows?
Now let's get serious, or not that serious, because I just can't resist a bit of irony. If you've been following this channel, you already know I'm always pointing this out. Chinese men seem to have a certain, let's call it an allergy to women who are either famous or earn more than they do. In Han Xue's case, it's basically the perfect case study to prove it. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Women with fame, fortune, and a checklist longer than the Great Wall are every average guy's worst nightmare. And it's not just about the money though, let's be honest. That alone is enough to make most men run. It's because trying to impress someone like that is a mission impossible. Think about it, Han Xue grew up with private jets, million-dollar jewelry, and mansions so big they make your backyard look like a showbox. Now picture yourself a regular guy taking her out to a nice restaurant in Shanghai, hoping to make a good impression. And then she goes, HMM. Not bad, but the fondue I had at that chalet in Switzerland was on another level. Boom. Mood ruined. You suggest a walk in the park, she compares it to a private garden she visited in France. Try taking her to the movies? She's already seen the premiere in LA. With the director, it's a game you just can't win, my friend. Those guys on the show knew it. Maybe not at first, but when the mask came off and her luxury lifestyle hit them like a truck, I'm sure they thought, I better bail before she asks me to buy her a castle. And I'm not just making this up. I've talked about this in other videos too. It's a pattern. Famous or ultra-wealthy women tend to scare guys off because they've lived experiences that most regular men can't even imagine. Han Xue wants a 6'1" boyfriend with a house in Shanghai? Okay, but those guys just wanted someone to split a plate of mapo tofu with, no drama. She came in with a whole universe of expectations no one there could or wanted to meet. And honestly, can you blame them? Imagine the pressure of trying to keep up with someone who treats yellow diamonds like casual accessories. So yeah, the men walked away, and Han Xue was left standing alone on stage. Just another reminder that sometimes, shining too bright just burns out any chance at a simple romance. Did she realize that? Well, that's a topic for another video. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more stories like this. I'll see you in the next one.